Hello, everyone. Hi. It's April, and this is Autism Awareness Month. Welcome to April. Um, Today, April 2nd, is Autism Awareness Day. I already shared today that um, I'll be coming live and to answer any question that you may have for me, or even if you want us to chat, you know, um, ask your questions, or you can, you know, any question you may have concerning your child, concerning any support or help that you may need. That will also depend on where you at, right? Um, that will depend on where you're at on the journey. Some people are just starting, some are in the middle, and some are at the, I would say, the tail end. You know, regardless of the season where you are, you know, I will say that you are doing an amazing job, right? And regardless of what is going through, what your child is going through, or you are going through as a parent, you are doing an amazing job. And don't let anyone make you feel otherwise, right? So you have your emotions and you know how you feel. I know sometimes people, hi, welcome. I know sometimes people try to tell you um, that there's a particular way to parent your child. But I tell you, with autism, it is totally different. You cannot parent your child who is living with autism the same way you will parent a typical kid. So, for everyone, the journey is different. And like I said, regardless of the point where you are at this time, you got this. For, that new mom who is wondering, oh, maybe you just recently got your diagnosis, or you're seeing some signs in your child. Regardless of where you are, you know, I will say God is there, and He knows that a time like this will come, you know, and He knows that you are strong enough to handle whatever He has placed in your hands. So, I want to encourage you, because I know sometimes, especially from um, the part of the world where I come from, people see autism in a different way. And I don't think that is how it should be. While growing up too, when you see those children with special needs, their parents will either lock them indoors, or keep them somewhere, or abandon them. I mean, there are so many situations that we have seen. But now there is more awareness. People are beginning to see, that I can't keep my child indoor. I can't, because they are also human, right? The fact that they have autism doesn't change them. It's a diagnosis. That does not define your child or what your child will be. It's a diagnosis. And I would say sometimes people get this diagnosis as well to be able to get the services that they truly need. Because if there's no diagnosis in this part of this world, I would say most of the time, you don't get the services that your child needs. But for those who do not even have access to services, you can imagine, right? And who parents who are just there trying to figure things out, trying to work with, their kids feeding, trying to make up with therapies. And, I was talking to someone the other day from my home country, and she said to me that, oh, now they have therapists in Nigeria. I said, oh, that is good. And something she pointed out to me in our conversation was that um, the way they do ABA is really different, right? It's really different. And I said that, of course, it will be different because of the resources and the training, right? But I would say in this part of this world, we we have a lot of that resources and services that are out there that the government has provided for children with disabilities. I won't say disabilities, children with the special abilities can use, can tap into. Now, there is something important that I also want to bring up, especially for moms who are new on this journey. I will say to you that it's okay to try to, ask questions and trying to feel, to let your emotions out. But as a parent, I believe and I trust that you're doing a good job for your child. Now, some parents feel like, oh, it's a taboo to have this kind of children. I remember that I had a meeting somewhere with other parents, and there's this particular culture or people from this particular country that they had like a webinar for. And during our discussion, they were saying that the way they see children on the autism spectrum in their country is quite different from the way we see them here. I don't want to mention the name of the country, but the way they see autism in that country is different from the way they see them. There's awareness here, but over there, this is not even Africa. Over there, that person told me that they would look these kids up, and then those family don't get people to come visit them because this child, they begin to blame the parent because this child is misbehaving, in quote, or this child is not talking, in quote, that the parents are suffering because of the sin that the parents have committed. And it's really, I was really shocked when I heard that so at this age and time people are still thinking that way, and they feel you know like autism is something bad. We have great men who are on the autism spectrum, you know who are doing great things. If you go right to Google, you will see them, numerous men and women who are on the autism spectrum, and they are doing great things, wonderful things. So, I want to encourage you as a parent or someone who's new to the journey. Don't feel any way. This is your child, right? And like I said, it's okay to feel some kind of emotions. Yes, that we are all humans. So it's okay to feel some kind of emotions. But at the same time, you will determine how people will treat your child. So that's why it's important for you to know how to handle, and support your child so that people are not one disrespectful to your child and feel like, oh, your child is misbehaving, your child is this, your child, your child is that. You know how people can be judgmental. And you want to be, you want to make sure that you're letting people know, especially people in your lives, know that this is autism. And then, because some people don't know, and it's not because of anything, nothing, um, it's not like they're looking out to just ignore you, but it's because they don't know. So you might need to educate them on what autism is so that they can understand you and your child better. And also, they can provide the support that you need. But if you are not, you know, providing that education, people don't know. What they don't know, they don't know. It's not everybody that reads about autism. People that may be the last thing on someone else's mind, you know. So if you will educate people, I think people will have a better understanding of what it is and have a way to support, to support you. I know recently that I've always had people, reach out, especially if I said, I need to take a break, I need to take a break. Um, Hi, sis. Thank you for joining. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining. So, I was talking to one of our church members, I think last week, and I was telling her how overwhelmed I am. Yes, you're right. Understand? Yes, they don't understand. So, and I was talking to her that I'm overwhelmed and I need a short break. And she was like, oh, auntie, I told you that you need a break. You need a vacation where you and your husband will leave for a few days. And I was telling her, how about the kids? She said, auntie, come on, the kids will be fine. Bring them. We already discussed this. And, that really touched my mind that, someone is out there looking out for you. And this is someone that is married too, and she said, go, you need a vacation. And you know what I told her? I said, I've not had a vacation in a long time because one, we need to cater, for our children and take care of them because our worry is that who's going to take care of them better than we do. But I think that's wrong. And I was really happy that at least someone is looking out, for us, saying go take a vacation, take time off, which I'm really glad. Yes, people on the autism do great things. I totally agree. There are records of so many people I've seen. Um, I have a support group that I belong to where one of the members told me that our kid is in college. Actually, two, a lady and a guy. They are both in college and they're doing great. One is nonverbal and the other one is verbal. So as we know, autism is really broad and there has been changes in, the I would say the definition because ADHD also falls under autism. So these are individuals who are doing well in college. So I agree that they do great things. So one thing, I'll piggyback on what you said because sometimes parents just give up once they say, oh, your child has autism. They give up totally on their child. And they don't, they see them as there's nothing this child can do. They are very creative. If you will take time and truly know who your child is, I believe that your child has some talent, some creativity in them to thrive. And also to diesel inspires. Yes, I think people sometimes don't understand. Yes, people sometimes don't understand. And you know, I I would say that, like I mentioned before, education is something that can be helpful. And now there's more awareness. There's more awareness. So people are beginning to accept, people who are different from them. You know, I'm really happy when I, go out, I see people with autism and other developmental disabilities. They are out there, they are painting, they are out there in the store saying hello, saying hi, saying, just relating with people. And that is something that I love about most of these developed countries like the US, where I am. People will say hi, will say hello, and compared to some other um countries who wouldn't even want to say hi because they feel like they don't understand them, or like they don't know who they are, or they feel like they are people totally different from someone typical you know and another thing that I also want to mention is that you know, I've met people on the autism spectrum who are verbal, some are nonverbal. And you would think like they don't understand what you're saying. Oh my goodness, they do. I tell parents, well, the fact that your child has autism doesn't mean that they can understand or they can assimilate. It's just that the way they will process things is quite different, right? They understand. When Daniel was younger, I speak Yoruba to him, and I always assume that he doesn't understand. And maybe when he does something that I don't like, and I tell him, "Kilo nshie ma," "Kilo nshie gan," and then he will take a look at me and start crying. How? You know, at first I'm like, wait, does he really understand? That was when he was younger. You know, I feel like, oh my gosh, how did he understand what I am, what I was saying to him? Like, so at that point, I figured out myself that, wow, he understands English and he understands Yoruba. But the fact that he can't even say it, he understands it. And sometimes I would tell him to go get something in Yoruba. He will go get it. So please don't limit your child. Don't be that person who will limit your child, like, oh, she can't do this, or oh, she can say that. No, they have a lot of abilities in them, and you'll be shocked when you look deep down. Yes, you're right. She said they are. Yeah, some people might be in denial. That denial part is really, I think it's one of the hardest part for people. When they are in denial, it hurts me. It makes me so sad because I feel like that time when you're in denial, your child would have gotten some kind of help that he or she needs. So I know denial is part of it's part of life. When something happens, you're like, oh no, I will rebuke it, I will reject it, I will pray about it. Yes, you can do that. But at the same time, use seek for wisdom, seek for understanding. You want to have a better understanding of what is going on. The Bible says, it says, in all your doings, get wisdom. Seek, and you shall find. So even when you're in that part, when you're processing, and denial is in different stages too. It is in different stages, right? When you finally get out of that denial, and you're back to accepting the reality, then at that point, you will, you know, be able to think and know the way forward. Because the earlier you start, the better for your child and the better for you. You know, even if you think that your child is not able to read or write or do some other things that the typical kids, you know, can do, you can also put in your time to teach it. And like I said, all these developed countries, they have resources that can help you. They can have therapists come into your home. They can have um, professionals come into your home to support you. So why not tap into it? Why not tap into some of those resources? You know, I'm still learning. But sometimes when people tell me something and I'm shocked, I'm like, where have you been, this girl? Where have you been? Where are you just hearing this? And that is part of learning. I always seek for what is, what is in what is out there that can help my children while we're walking this journey. It's not easy. It is not. So you want to better tap into those resources now than wait for later. I remember, I think one of my recent videos, a parent sent a comment. I saw a comment and she's saying that she's starting ABA therapy for her child very soon. And something that actually struck me was that this child does not even have a diagnosis yet. She's still waiting to get diagnosed, right? But she started the walk already. She's going to start ABA therapy. Yes. So that is taking actions, thinking about what can I do now while I'm also thinking about other things that will happen in the future, for my child. Because now, at every point, there's always a resource or kind of support that you will need. And that's one thing that I also enjoy, with my support group for parents whose child has been in the stage where I'm currently at. I ask questions. And when that stage is over and we're moving on to the next stage, I will ask questions. What did you do when your child is at this phase? What did you do? I'm constantly seeking, constantly learning about some of the resources. Do you also know that as a parent, you can get a blue what's it called? You can get a um I've forgotten the name. You can get it from a motor vehicle. It's the for reserved parking for your child. That reminds me. All right. So it's a reserved parking placard for your child. Where you go out there and you see those reserved parking for people who are disabled, those signs, you can get that at your nearest motor vehicle for your child so that when you go for those doctor's appointments, you're seeking for where to park, you're constantly driving around to see where to park. Put your placard there and take your child out. So those are some of the things, some of the resources, that you can look into. If your child is having serious behaviors, you can do CMOs. CMOs are care management organizations. I'll come back and talk about them. They will walk you through the resources that are available. They will support you as a parent. There are so many. So, for that parent who's new, I will say tap, get in now. This is the time. And by the time you look back in 15 years, in 20 years at your child, you'll be amazed at how much progress, your child has made. Okay, Diza Inspire says, I actually got enlightened when I moved to the US. I agree. Yes, yes. We need to get out more. We need to educate people more, more. People still don't know. People don't know. They just think the child is misbehaving. Something, I remember a conversation I had with someone too, sometimes back, about a few years back. She said, oh, my child has been misbehaving. I want to take her back home. I am so tired. And I called her. I said, come on. Okay, where do you want to take? We had that conversation, the real conversation. It was really, like that conversation you don't want to hear. She said, I want to go drop her back home, in my home country. And I said, please don't do that. If you do that, in a few years' time, you'll regret this. And she said, why? Don't tell me this is my child. I said, yes, it's okay. I know it's your child. But remember, it takes a village to raise a child. And I told her that, look, you have access to more resources here than anywhere else. So why do you want to go drop or dump this child there where people will think because of their ignorance and start doing some unnecessary stuff because they don't understand? So why do you want to go drop your child there? And I said, what you can do is keep your child here, get to see a doctor, get therapies as needed, and then you will see your child thrive. She said, okay, grudgingly, she was like, okay, I'm just going to give it a trial. And she did. And today, that child is doing well. I'm telling you, you are the only person, you are the only caregiver that can support your child the way they need to be supported. You are. So dropping the child with grandparents, dropping them with someone else in a country you don't even know what is going on there, in the country where, people don't really understand and accept what autism is, you think that's a good fit for your child? Please don't do that. So, any question, thank you for listening to my TED Talk. Any question? Does anyone have any question about me, my children? Let me know. Ask away. If you have anyone who also, need some kind of education, I'm available. So ask away. What question do you have for me today? Like I said today is question and answer time. So what question do you have for me today? All right, let's hear it. Let's hear. Anybody, any question? Yeah. Any question for me at this point? All right. Okay, so let me leave this out there before I end this live. Oh, I've been here for roughly 20 minutes. Okay. Oh, okay. Hi. Okay. What are the signs of autism? Thank you. Um, hmm. There are so many signs, of autism, and I'm going to share with you what I've seen, in my children that made me understand that things are not really right. And because everyone is different and people will show different signs of autism. And there's something that I always say, that whatever sign you find in sign A might not be present in sign B. Oh, I'm sorry. Whatever sign you find in child A might not be present in child B. For my son, who will be turning 11 in about 3 months, I noticed that he has, you know, some repetitive behavior. So, a couple of repetitive behavior that I found out for Daniel was that he will open our refrigerator about may- maybe about 500 times a day. That was one of the red flags. And at that time, I think I shared in one of my videos, my mom was present with me. And another thing Daniel would do is stand right in front of the TV. When you call on him, even when you're close to him, he will ignore you. He will zone out. Also, another thing that I notice is steaming and toe walking. He will steam, he will bring his, hand to his face so many times. He will flap. That's another thing I've seen. It will flap, it will spin. That's another thing that I noticed with Daniel. And it will toe walk. Of course, when kids are younger, at one point they will toe walk and then it will stop. But for him, it was more frequent. And at that point, and I begin, my mom called me and said, okay, this is what I've been noticing because I do work. And she was the one who has been with Daniel for a long time and saying, okay, I think I'm seeing some signs which I don't think it's typical. And that was when we decided to seek a doctor. And over to my last baby, Dara, what I noticed with her, she started talking early, but she also toe walked and also loves to spin. She steams too. In fact, sometimes people do tell me, oh, Dara does not have autism. I said, yes, but you don't see the sign. I see the signs. People still find it difficult to believe that she has it. And also with the behavior. I know also toddlers do have some kind of behavior issues because they are beginning to get some kind of awareness of who they are, right? Especially from when they turn 2 to 3, which we'll call terrible twos or terrible threes. They have those behavior present. But with her, those behaviors are kind of very, very weird. For someone who has taught in the school and you're like, okay, this is typical of toddlers, then I said, well, I see those signs. Some sensory issues were there for her too. She wouldn't want you to touch her hair, brush her teeth. And she loved to, I would say, if she loves something, she will stick to that thing so much. For example, if this is Dara's shirt and you pull it up that okay, it's dirty, let's go wash it. Dara will say no. She still want to wear it after taking a shower. So she wants to, if possible, she wants to have that cloth on all day, all week. So those are some of the signs. Like I said, what is present in A might not be present in B. But I would say to parents to make sure that they are looking out for their child. Spend time with your child to know them, to know that I see this, so that if anyone even asks you, you're able to say, oh, I see this, I noticed this. Find a support group, get friends who also have toddlers that you can share with. Oh, my child is doing this. I noticed this. Is your child doing that? Sometimes people are able to pick up some things even before you. I remember a story. Someone I know, very dear to me, she's one of my church sisters. She told me that one of our, you know, um, colleagues have a child that she has seen so many times, and she's seen some weird signs, but she wasn't sure. And she doesn't want to talk to the parent, because she wants to be careful. Sometimes what you don't see, other people can see it. So I would say just be alert, know your child's milestones, know it like the back of your hand. That CDC milestone tracker? Know it. So for Dara, I used that tracker religiously. I was constantly tracking what she was doing at 2 months, 4 months, 6 months, 8 months. Yes. And there's a reason for that. Sometimes when you pick it up early, you start intervention right away. It works. So, the signs are different from every child. I hope I'm able to answer your question. Another one, are there ways to prevent a child from having autism? That's a good question. I don't, so far, I don't think there are ways to prevent. But what I know is that for people, some people say, oh, they have no history of autism in their family. But for most people, they have it, but they do not know what it's being called. You just see people getting angry. You just see people doing some weird things. They just see them as a typical child, right? So they don't know what it's being called. But there are traces, or they have a history, or they have a family member who has some signs. So I would say that um, there are no ways right now to prevent it. I know some people were talking about, taking Tylenol. Tylenol costs autism, measles, shots cost autism. There are so many myths that we've heard. And with Tylenol, most people will take Tylenol at one point or the other, especially when you're in pain and you're pregnant. Most people, yes, they do take Tylenol. And I don't know if it's from Tylenol. We don't know what's the cost, but I mean, most pregnant women would take when they're in pain. So I don't see. I mean, for me, I don't know. I don't see that as anything. But the most important one that I know people talked about was the issue of the measles shot that were given to kids. And at one point when I was having my master's program, one of our professor was talking about that, and she said that eh, that's not never the cause of it. And I said, how is she sure that that's not the cause of it? Because this is someone who I don't think she has a niece, but she never even thought about you know getting some kind of disability from taking shots. Then one thing I know I did different, that was thinking, oh, I can prevent, when I was aware that, okay, Daniel has autism. And I was thinking in my mind, okay, if they said it's measles shot, one thing I did was it took me some time to get Daniela her measles shot. Instead of, I think they take measles shots between 18 months and 2 years old. I can't remember. But it took me time. I think it was when I noticed that Daniela started talking that I got a measles shot. And also for Dara, it took me time. I spread it out. That's also something that I did different, because I know that some people will say, how you go to your doctor and they will give them about 4 or 5 shots listed. Don't rush the shots. Don't, don't give them all the four because you don't want to come back to the doctor. If you can take one today, come back and take the other one. That's what some people said they've tried and it has worked for them. Like I said, I'm not a doctor. I don't know. But I have tried a couple of those things and I've seen that I don't think that the measles shot is the cause of it. But everyone will have a different understanding on this. What are the best treatment for autism? Oh, you know what? People are coming up with a lot of things, a lot of treatments. Some people tried the GFCF diet. I tried it too. For Daniel, I tried the gluten-free, casein-free diet. And what does that entail? So that entails taking wheat, bran, oats, barley, and there's one more thing out of their diet because I heard that it's not good for their digestive system. I tried that for Daniel for a little bit of time, especially when he was having the gastrointestinal issues. So what I did for Daniel was I noticed that if he goes, it will smell. In fact, you can be like 10 feet. No, I don't want to exaggerate, like 5 feet away and smell it. It's that bad. So I figured out that it has to do with the gastro. So I took milk out of his diet when he was going to school. It was written in his IEP, no milk, strictly no milk, no whatever milk at all. So I took milk off, but I now switched that with another vegetable or fruit that has calcium because I know calcium is what you can get from milk. Then with those gluten-free food, Daniel does not like it because they taste so bland. I don't know if you have ever tasted gluten-free pizza. Gluten-free pizza? Oh my goodness, you wouldn't like it. So all those gluten-free diet, most kids don't like it, but people who they've tried it and they probably come up with, oh, it doesn't make my child hyper. My child is able to focus. I know with Daniel, when I started that, his gastrointestinal issue was, corrected and it just stopped. And he was eating more fruits, more fresh fruits like grapes, blueberries, everything. Then he got over the gastro part. So that has helped and also helped him a little bit. Um, it makes him a little calmer. It became a little calmer after taking gluten-free, casein-free diet. That's what I've tried for Daniel. That was what I tried for him. So I don't know if that will also work, you know, for your child, but that's what I've tried. And ever since at one point we stopped the gluten-free, casein-free diet, and then we moved on to the regular food. So Daniel has been fine with that, and he's even taking milk, but he doesn't like it because he didn't take milk, for the most part when he was younger. So he's been good. He eats my local food, and it's fine. He goes. It doesn't smell. Everything is pretty good for now for him. But for Dara, I didn't. Dara did not have any gastro issues, but I make sure that is drinking proteinous milk. Milk from almond, coconut. But the one that I know that she really loves is the almond milk, and she's been drinking it, even the one without sugar. So I try to limit their sugar intake. Juice, if I don't juice it myself, most times I don't like it because when you check the box of those um, juice products, you see the amount of sugar that is present in them. I know our kids love to take, sugary things, but the juice, if you check the amount of sugar content in there, it's a lot. So I try to limit that and do more of vegetables, protein, um, and some people also do some biomedical stuff. I remember someone was saying that, what did she say? I think she mentioned that um, there's something they call, oh my gosh, I forgot the name. It's a procedure, but I forgot the name of the procedure. So they will go in and do some blood work with their child. People, I know people go sometimes extra into the extreme because, and I get it. When especially something you've not heard of before, you will go extra mile to make sure that your child is okay. And that is typical, of every parent because you want to be sure that your child is fine. So you will go extra mile to do anything to make sure that their blood is okay. And, for some reason, people think that if they do those biomedical, it will flush out the autism. I don't know. But, and also, I remember someone talking to me about microwaves. Now we don't keep microwaves in our home anymore. Yep. Someone said something about microwaves. Um, Also, the seasoning that we use in our foods, reducing, some of the seasoning that are not good because what you can take and can do well with you as an adult might not do well with them. That is when you see them crying all of a sudden out of the blues or engaging in those behaviors. It's because either they're having something internal which they are not able to express to you. But you're just, as a parent, we're just staring like, what is going on? My child is just crying for no reason. There is no behavior without a reason. Behavior does not just occur. Especially for people who work as an ABA professional, there is no behavior without a reason. So when you see your child crying, they're crying for a reason. Maybe, when I see Dara crying most of the time, I think about what has happened. Is it what she just ate or something she ate before? Is it what she drank? Is it that she's not comfortable? I try to ask so many questions in my mind. And once I'm able to figure that out, she's good. She's sorted out. So you might want to, think and look deep down and see and take notes. What I love to do is, try to write something down. Oh, I see this. I see this. I see this works for her. This works for Dara. Then I note that, with her. So I will say that the best treatment for autism is whatever you're able to give to your child, whatever help and support you're able to give, you know, to your child. People try so many things, but did it work for them? You know, Everyone is different. And this is not to say don't try things. Natural stuff. I love anything natural. Ginger, garlic, um, you know, those natural foods are really good for them. And you see a lot of, changes in them when you begin to feed them with the organic and natural foods. There's always a difference, you know. All right, thank you for that question. Yes, I wish there was treatment for autism. I wish too. I really wish. I think they are still trying to have some research done and see where that will go. But at this point, I think therapy is really what I would recommend, most especially for kids who are really young. I was talking to a parent, I think about a month ago, who has a child who is 16. And, I was just chatting with her as a mother. And I said that, wait, does the child have ABA? She said, wait, what's that? What is ABA? And I found out that the boy never had any therapy. And This boy has been going to school and no one is telling her about ABA. And what came to my mind was that, oh my gosh, this boy is 16 already. How is ABA gonna work at this age? I was thinking, and I said that I made up my mind a little more that for every parent who have younger children, as young as two, or you're beginning to see those signs in your child, I will encourage you to seek for therapy ASAP. I shared in one of my videos on this channel where I used to work with one kid. This kid, the first time I walked into this kid's home, mom was standing by the door. He smiled at me. He smiled. That was the only thing he did. So I was put in this home to start in-home therapy, 4 hours, 8 hours a day. And then, well, because the agency was planning to transition to the center, but they wanted me to start with this kid in the home. And we started in the home, playing together, running. I was running data, doing different stuff with this child. And then eventually, I think about 2, 3 weeks after, we moved into the center. That very year, by August, this kid started talking and it was moved to inclusion. I'm not kidding here, like talking. And the reason is because he's getting a lot of therapy during the day in that ABA center. I will still come here to talk about the advantages of center-based ABA programs. So this kid really, he he thrived. He did great that at that point because we had to relocate. So that was why I left the boy. He was using 2, 3 word sentences. He will sit down and listen to someone read. So that is why I said early intervention makes the difference for any child. And at the point when I was leaving, um, mom said to me, Addie, I said, it's not me. It it really touched my mind, my heart that, this is a kid that just walked up to me by the door and just smiled because he never had words, no words. And mom was, she gave me a hug like, wow. She was totally shocked. And this is also a kid who didn't have a diagnosis at that time, too, because mom was like, I went away, I'm waiting on the doctor to schedule me to refer me to see a developmental pediatrician. And this kid just, everything just started working, for him. So I know sometimes some kids may need a little bit of push. Yes, some kids may need that. Um, and some, they're good to go, right? But in all, know your child enough. Spend more time with them. Know that every child is different. Even with the three, I have three, right? Each person has their own personality. So know each very well and know their needs. Pay attention. Pay attention. When you're with them, pay attention. Know what is going on. And this journey, I I always pray for strength because I know it's not easy, right? I know it's not easy. Sometimes I'm human, I'm overwhelmed. Sometimes I go to the bathroom, I just want to cry. Yeah, I have those days. Sometimes at night, when everyone is asleep, I just want to cry and let it out. Another thing that I've found comforting is listening to music. Worship songs help me a lot. Sometimes I don't even have words to pray, but I stay in my bed and worship because that can help a whole lot. And also talking. I don't keep quiet. I mean, Look, I'm that person that will always, just want to chat to people, chat with people, also have a smile on my face. It's not like I don't have something going on, but brooding or having a sad face will not solve anything, right? So being cheerful has helped me on this journey to know that, look, you're not alone. You you're not doing it by your own strength. You're not doing it by your own power. It's because the Lord has assigned you and He has found you strong enough to handle this season of your life. And that's also one thing I think parents also need to understand. You are stronger than what how much you think you are. You are. You're strong. You're very strong. Okay, so I have another question here. What is the best way to ensure a child who is only eating one food is getting enough nutrients? Ooh, yes, thank you. So that happens every time when you have a child who is eating one food. That is typical of most of our children who are on the autism spectrum. For Dara, the only food she loves to eat most of the time is chicken nuggets, fries and chicken nuggets. But we switch it around. I either do first do this, then that. So what I mean by that is the food that she doesn't like, I will have a preferred food and a non-preferred food. So for example, if I need, she doesn't like to eat, for some reason, she doesn't like to eat rice recently. So I will offer her 2 spoons of rice and then half piece of chicken nuggets. I'll put it, she will see it. It's not something that I have to hide. I'll put it on the table, for her to see and say, how about you take 2 spoons of rice and then you take half piece of chicken nuggets. That is a way, to get them to eat foods with nutrients. And if you have that child, if your child is like, nope, I only want this one food. What I've also tried with Dara at one point is she also want to eat spaghetti, only spaghetti. I will get vegetables. I will get green peas, corn, green pepper, um, onions, garlic, ginger. I will bring it to a boil, just a little bit. Pour it in my blender and blend it to make sure that it's smooth. So once it's smooth, I will get the what's it? These ice packs, the one they put in the freezer. Then I will pour them into those cubes and put it and freeze it. So the day I'm making pasta, she loves her pasta red. So I have to put in tomatoes into that pasta. It has to be red. I will take about 2 cubes of those vegetables um that are frozen. I'll put it in our pasta and mix it together. That way she's getting the nutrients. Another way is also getting um gummies. Those vitamins, you can try those vitamins, the sweet ones. You can try also the first, of course, eat what you like to eat and then you get your gummies. That's for kids who don't like to eat gummies. So those are the ways you can try to put in the nutrients if it's that one food she loves to eat. And if you're able to make it at home, the easier for you. Blend those stuff you want, even fish. Sometimes I will make spinach and squeeze or mash the fish because she doesn't like to eat fish sometimes. I will match it or I will blend the beef and pour it in the soup that I'm making. So, sometimes we have to be creative and then just, if it's only one food, just put in those vegetables in there, add it in. And I know our kids can be smart too. Once they see anything in that food that doesn't look like the typical food that they eat, they will stop eating it. So you have to be creative. Make sure you blend that vegetables or whatever, make sure you blend it very well and then pour it in whatever food, um, they eat. So I hope I'm able to answer your question. Please let me know. Yes, these are pay attention. So true. It is well, my dad. Amen. 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 Thank you so much. I hope I'm able to please let me know if I'm able to answer your question about eating one particular food and getting nutrients. You can also talk to your child's pediatrician, to see um, if they can recommend any multivitamin that can help your child. People do so many things. Some you can put it in their water or their juice, for them to take it in. um every child is different, but we just have to figure out a way that we put in those vegetables and things in their food, so they're able to get the nutrients that they truly need. And for Daniel, I didn't have to do that. I did, but not as much as Dara. Daniel, it was just, a little bit up and down, then it was fine for the most part. Now he eats everything. He eats everything that we eat. But with Dara, you can't really predict, but whichever way she moves, we move. So we try to be flexible enough for her, so that she's comfortable as well, because we understand this is autism. It's not like she's doing that on purpose, but we we are ready to give the support. Sometimes that's why it's hard for us to even go to restaurant, because when we go there, she might not like what she sees. So we might have to come with snacks, or get something she likes, or just switch things around, um, for them. Yeah. So, okay. All right. Any other question? Thank you so much for being here. I appreciate your time. You would have been doing something different, but I'm glad you're here. I hope you're able to learn one or two things. I'll be coming. It's my schedule has been really wacky. That's why I've not, had a lot of videos out there. I'll be coming out, soon to talk about maybe the center-based ABA. Is there any topic you would like me to also talk about? Please let me know if there's any topic that you need me to address about our children. And look, there's nothing to be ashamed of. Nothing. Absolutely nothing. Right? This is your child. And I'm so proud of them. Nothing to be ashamed of. Right? So, and there's no silly question. Any question, anything that you think you might need help with support with, you know, whenever I drop a video, please kindly just put in your comment. I'll be talking a lot more, about so many things about autism. Autism, I've learned so much. Sometimes I think, my brain is like so full, and I'm like, oh my gosh. And something that I also like to do is to help parents. At this point, especially the support that I didn't get at one point, I'm like, if I can try as much as possible to tell parents to do this, when you start noticing this, talk to people. Talk, please don't be quiet. Don't be quiet. We are all here for each other. We're here to support. We are here to help. But people just think that you want to intrude into their privacy. And I get it. Everybody, they have their own way of doing stuff. But I don't want to intrude your privacy, but I want to see that your child is thriving, so that at the end of the day, you will look back and say, I see why you're into my business. I don't like to be in people's business. No, I'm not. I'm not that person. But when it comes to our children, woo, yeah. And when people know that you don't know, unfortunately, they take advantage. Like the parents of that 16-year-old that I was telling you about. When at one point the teachers, they were just, I would say they were just um rolling things around, just doing things like they know they are supposed to go extra mile for those child, but they didn't do it. And it's because mom don't know, right? And that makes me sad because you are supposed to be supporting this child. You are supposed to be an advocate for this child, but you're not doing it. But anyway, at any point, um, you feel like your child is not getting what your child is supposed to get, depending on where you are, please talk to other people. People, I'm telling, when you talk, when you're not quiet, you will get a lot of information and you'll be shocked. You'll be shocked. You know, recently I learned about some information which I didn't know about, and I was like, what? I mean, I was asking, I was like, what? Are you serious? And I'm more than happy to help. I mean, more than happy to share it. It won't cost me. It's because we want to, let's strive together, right? Let's strive together. Let's make sure that our child are doing great things together. I want to see that child tomorrow and say, I thank God for this child, right? So thank you for listening to my TED Talk. Thank you for being here. You're doing an amazing job for your child. I see you. The Lord sees you. The Lord will strengthen you. If you're just starting on this journey, I pray that the Lord will help you. He will uphold you. It's not easy, but the Lord will strengthen you ahead for the battle. And I will say for those who are in the middle, which I think I'm falling, I will say that keep going, keep pushing. If you think you're not doing enough, you are. You're doing more for your child. And make sure that you are taking care of yourself. Self care is very important. You cannot give what you don't have. You can't. You don't want to break down. You don't want to get to the point where you break down. So take that self care. Take 2 days off, 1 day off. Go away, go away. Take that moment off because those kids will be fine. So you need to take care of yourself. Remember how they tell you on the plane when you're putting on your oxygen mask, put it on yourself first before any other person. So the same thing applies here. You first. And then I'm telling you, you have that energy to care for them because you are, you know, rejuvenated and ready. And also to those who are at the end of the journey, I say, well done, mama. Well done, papa. Well done, caregiver. You have done so well. And I know that the Lord will reward you. He will reward everyone. He will continue to strengthen you. And it shall be well with our children. In Jesus' mighty name. Thank you so much for your support. Thank you, everyone. And I will see you in my next video. Please, if you have any topic you'd like me to talk about, please put it in the chat before we go. Thank you, thank you, thank you, everyone. All right. So let me know if there's any question or we'll sign out. Or any topic, I mean, any topic at all. At all. Any topic you would like me to address very soon, shortly, because this month is, like we said, Autism Awareness Month. Anything you will want to see, anything you will want to hear, um, so that, we're able to talk about it. Okay. So I appreciate your time. Let me see if there are any questions that I have not addressed. Um, okay, what's the best way to ensure child's only eating one food? Okay. Thank you. Oh, prevention tips. You mean prevention tips for autism? You mean? Well, I think one thing I'm gonna say is if you say prevention tips, one thing, one of the things I will share is spread out their immunization shot. Spread it out. I said it earlier. You know how they will give you Okay. You know how they will give you how they have those cards with our children's pediatrician and they will list the shots they should get by a certain age. Spread it out. Some people, I don't want to mention their names. They don't even get this immunization shots. They don't. I don't want to mention their names here, but they don't get it. So if you spread it out, let's see if you're able to notice some kind of difference in maybe in another child. But immunization shots, spread it out. If they say by 12 months, you don't have to do it by 12 months. You don't have to take all four the day you go to the doctor. Spread it out. That might be helpful. Another thing is, you know, just I don't know if to say no medication, because I mean I'm not a doctor to say that. But like I shared earlier where people said um, Tylenol. They were calling, I think there was a lawsuit concerning Tylenol. I can't remember, but they were saying Tylenol is one of the causes of autism. But people who have had typical and children with other disabilities, we've all taken Tylenol at one point. So I wouldn't say don't take any medication, because if you're in pain, you still need to take the medication. So, you know, just one thing is pray, do your own part. Do your own part. Yeah, do your own part. And the Lord will help us. All right. Thank you. So please share if you don't mind. If you have anyone who needs some kind of support, some kind of help, I'm more than happy. This is what I love to do. Anything when it comes to our children, generally autism, whew, call me. Yes. Um, I don't know if I told you that I also I'm an advocate. Yeah. I'm all right. Bye. Thank you. Have a great one, everyone. Thank you.